Charles Dickens could have written this episode in the War on 74. It's the best of times for Bradley going after a Missouri Valley Conference championship. It's the worst of times for Illinois State trying to keep their heads above water and above the 500 record. Hello and welcome to Bradley Basketball here on WEEK, and a special welcome to our friends joining us tonight on Fox Sports Chicago. Lee Hall along with Ron Ferguson. And Ron, this is always a special night when these two teams get together. I'm a Peoria native and an ISU grad. You, the former athletic director at Bradley, former ISU coach. Anytime that you have two teams that are within 39 miles of each other, you're going to have a heck of a rivalry.
Well, I think it's the greatest collegiate rivalry in the state of Illinois, and maybe one of the best in the Midwest. And the games are always well fought. They always aren't well played, but they're really out. Everyone hustles.
Okay, and of course the hero of game one, the first meeting last month, Bradley guard Rob Dye. He hit a three-point shot, missed one, got his own rebound, and hit the three that won it for Bradley, 69-68 at Redbird Arena. Ron, he is Bradley's leading scorer, and he is their go-to guy, although he's been struggling a little lately.
Well, every game that he scored 20 points or more, Bradley's won. That seems to be the key, and tonight I'm sure Illinois State will do everything they can to keep Dye under 20 points.
The Redbirds coming off back-to-back regular season and Missouri Valley Conference tournament titles. They have struggled this year mainly because of injuries. They lost their second leading scorer and leading rebounder L.D. Murdoch to a knee injury, and Tyrese Bryson is their leading scorer, and he's been playing hurt all year too. And
Illinois State lost 2 games when Tyrese didn't play. He's one of the top scorers of the conference, and he and Dye probably the 2 best offensive guards in the conference, and really how they go, that indicates what their team's going to do.
North Carolina and Duke might be the best rivalry in the country on a Missouri Valley Conference scale. That's what we have tonight. We'll have the starting lineups for you in just a minute. Back at Carver Arena in Peoria, Illinois State and Bradley. Here are the starters for tonight's ball game. First, for the visitors from Illinois State, it's walk-on Ryan Crowley and Leroy Watkins at the forward. Sean Riley, the transfer from North Texas, at center. And at guards, it is the freshman Victor Williams and Illinois State's leading scorer Tyrese Bryson. For Bradley, at the forwards, it's Jerome Robinson and Abba Koida out of Winnetka-New Trier. Matthew Lee at center, Eric Roberson, and Rob Dye at the guards. Dye making his 52nd straight start for the Bradley Braves. We'll have the tip-off when we come back. We're back in Peoria, Illinois State, 13-11 overall, 5-8 in the Missouri Valley Conference. The Redbirds struggling with injuries. They are coached by Kevin Stallings in his 6th season. He is 120-59, 6-5 against Bradley, only 1-4 here in Peoria. He is the 1998 Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year. Jim Molinari in his 8th season as head coach of the Braves, 129-99. He spent 2 years at Northern Illinois. 6-9 against ISU. His teams run 41-24 in February. They come on strong as we approach March Madness. Let's take a look at our keys for tonight's ball game. First for the home team, Bradley.
We got to match. ISU's coming in here, Lee, like a wounded lion. So we've got to match their intensity right away and not let ISU get off to a big start. Bradley must defend the three-point shot because in games that ISU has done well, they've hit a lot of threes. Must contain Watkins, Leroy Watkins, 270 pounds. Keep him away from the basket and off the offensive boards. And Bradley must force the tempo and take advantage of their superior depth due to the injuries.
And for Illinois State,
ISU must try to contain Dye and Shire and limit them under 25 points. Illinois State must get outside shooting from Bryson, Cartmill, and Riley, and use their size and more experience inside.
And avoid foul trouble. There's Ron's keys to the game. The fans are on their feet here in Carver Arena. Bradley and Illinois State set the attendance record for this building with 11,027 2 years ago, and they are on their feet again here tonight, possibly a record-setting crowd. The opening tap controlled by the visitors, Illinois State, and they're traveling red, white, and black. The Braves crowd will stay on their feet until the Braves allow any points. Rob Dye, the Missouri Valley Conference leader in steals, with his first steal of the night.
I wouldn't play surprised I'm not surprised that Illinois State's playing a zone. This is a way to conserve their lack of depth and stay out of foul trouble, and I'm not surprised at all.
Kawita kick back out. Jerome Robinson, the miss. And Bradley can't control the rebound. Eric Roberson comes up with it, and the whistle on Illinois State's Sean Riley.
Playing a zone against Bradley, or even mixing up your defenses, I think is something that will bother Bradley, and I think Illinois State is smart in doing that. Well, now they're playing a box and one now. They're cover and die.
Vic Williams playing Rob Dye man-to-man. And the Braves turn it over as they try to get it inside once again. We've played a minute, no score.
This is
Bradley and Illinois State.
This is the first box and one we've seen against Dye this year, and I'm sure that Coach Mo has worked on it and was expecting it sometime along the way.
Leroy Watkins has trouble with the double team.
He takes up
a lot of room. I knew what you're thinking. Watkins offensive rebound.
Got to keep
both teams starting cold.
Got to keep Watkins off the board. He's so darn big in there. It's really hard to force him out wide.
He's big and he is strong. Bradley had great success against a kind of a straight zone against Evansville earlier this year.
Well, the shot clock's down to 9 here.
Dye with it, double team, three-point attempt, bounces high and no good. Kawita got a hand on it, and Bradley gets a new shot clock. Matthew Lee gives inside, maybe one pass too many for Bradley, but Kawita scores.
Good job by Kawita to hang on to that ball in there and picked up the foul at the same time. Well, so far, good work on the offensive boards by Bradley. That has been one of Illinois State's problems this year is rebounding. And you wouldn't think so with that big Watkins, but teams neutralize him and screen him off the boards, and it enables some of your other quicker players to get the rebound.
Abba Kawita going through a couple of pretty big trees in there. 7-foot Sean Riley and the heavyweight Leroy Watkins. Kawita finishes the three-point play, and Bradley is on the board.
Bradley's in a full-court press, trying to pick up the tempo a little bit.
Crowley to Bryson, fouled by Kawita.
Look, Kawita could have done a little bit of a better job. He shouldn't have stayed right. He should have just got away from him. He's tall enough that he could have probably blocked the shot and not picked up the foul if he just hadn't got right in his way.
Tyrese Bryson goes to the line. 6'2" sophomore out of Stephen Decatur High School. 17.2 points a game.
I believe he's the second leading scorer as a freshman that Illinois State's had, or was about to be as a sophomore, but his first year with the team.
Sat out last year because of academic ineligibility.
And he's missed a couple games this year because of injuries, and I don't know if he's 100% right now, but he looks pretty good so far.
He's wearing a sort of a splint on his left leg. He has a stress fracture in that leg, suffered the injury in the weight room in the off season, but he's played all year, missed just a couple of games with it. Bradley gets it back to Dye, who hits his first bucket of the night. Rob Dye, 18 points a game.
Good job on the offensive board so far by Bradley.
Bradley, the early three-point lead.
ISU's got some good three-point shooters. Tyrese Bryson is a great three-point shooter. And so is Riley, the big man, the 7-footer.
This is Bryson. And Kawita the rebound. Bradley looking to build on a three-point lead. Alley-oop to Matthew Lee.
Great job by Dye, and Matthew Lee did a fine job of catching the ball and stuffing it in the basket.
Matt Lee shooting 55% in his last 8 ball games, and that will add to the percentage.
Well, that brings the crowd to its feet.
Leroy Watkins muscles his way open down low.
Well, Bradley's got to do a better job than that on Watkins. He's posting up low there, and they're not able to get in front of him. He's so wide, it's hard to get around him.
6'7", 265 out of Chicago Corliss. Roberson, the fake, takes it to the hoop and in, and that's something Jim Molinari says he wants to see more of from Eric Roberson.
Well, especially against that zone. Illinois State obviously is not used to playing a zone a lot, and they're really not moving very well in the zone, and I think the box and one kind of confuses their coverage on the zone too.
Roberson has struggled lately from three-point range after being surprisingly accurate from there this year. Jerome Robinson just inside the three-point line. Koita gets his hands on another offensive rebound, but can't control.
I don't think Coach Mo, that was a little quick to be shooting the ball down there. It was an open shot, but I think he just as soon get the ball in Roberson's hands or get it inside. Bradley will try to make Illinois State foul a little bit because Illinois State doesn't have the depth that Bradley does.
Koita almost came up with a steal that time. Victor Williams, the freshman from Kansas City, with two.
Well, Robinson, that was not a very good job of defense by Robinson. Williams went right around him very easily and got in for the layup.
9-6. We've played almost 5 minutes. It's gone quickly. Bradley a game out of first place as Eric Roberson puts up the three-point attempt. He has struggled from the field lately. And it will be Bradley's ball when we return. Timeout on the floor. 15:02 left first half. Bradley by 3. Bradley, the early three-point lead, 2 of them on a very high percentage shot by Bradley Jr. Matthew Lee, Ron.
Well, we need some help from Matt. Bradley needs to get some offensive help under the basket to compete with Illinois State because Illinois State's got the experience and the size underneath in Riley. And Riley is really graduated in December, so he's been around a while and he's very mature, as is Watkins.
The end of the game, we'll pick the Dodge Player of the Game. See the new Dodge at your friendly Dodge dealer.
Illinois State and Bradley are the 2 best defensive teams in the Missouri Valley Conference in terms of field goal percentage defense and also three-point defense. So they really kind of mirror each other defensively.
Gavin Shire out of Burlington, Illinois, into the ball game for Bradley. He has really been the star 6th man in the Missouri Valley Conference this year. Coming off a 14-point performance Saturday against Drake. Dive. No, just a 2.
Guy shot that one with a hand in his face.
Vic Williams blocked out of there by Matthew Lee, who is now tied for 9th in the Missouri Valley Conference. His 17th block of the year. Not hardly fair blocking a guy's shot who's only 5'10". Leroy Watkins, the left-hander, of the high-arching shot. Leroy Watkins, 9 points a game. He has struggled with an ankle injury this year, but has really come on of late.
Well, Riley and Watkins made a little crossing pattern under the basket there, and the Bradley defenders got mixed up and lost Watkins, who got an easy short jump shot. He'll make those. Rowley's covering die now for Illinois State.
Shire open for 3. The high bounce. Boy, when you're a good shooter, you get every roll, don't you? Gavin Shire, 56% from three-point range in his last 8 games, and he just stays hot for Bradley.
Well, I was going to say he's hit his first shot in about the last 4 or 5 games, and I said, well, here's one he's not going to hit, and I'll be darned if it didn't go in.
Eric Roberson comes up with it for Bradley, has it stripped away. Matt Lee swats at it and gives it to Rob Dye. Bradley comes up with it after almost losing it. Koita fouled underneath by Ryan Crowley of Illinois State. That's only the 3rd foul of the game. Quick moving ball game.
4th foul. Bradley has 1. Koita has 1. Rebounds right now are 8-2 in favor of Bradley, and that's why Bradley's getting some extra shots here.
By mistake. 3 fouls on Illinois State. Dye pulls up for 3. Crowley was right there, and Dye just nailed it.
Well, I don't think Lee Crowley's quick enough to cover Dye. They need to put Williams or Bryson on him.
It's awfully early in the game, but this is a key possession for Illinois State, trailing by 9. Williams up and in, and he'll go to the line for the three-point play.
Williams has really hurt Bradley so far. He's going right around his man, and there's nobody from Bradley back there to pick him up. And Coach Mo Molinari is not real happy with the defense on that play. But you got to give credit to Williams. He's a quick young man, and he's really keeping Illinois State in this ball game with his quickness and his offensive moves.
74% free thrower, completes the three-point play, and Illinois State back within 6. Williams with 5 points.
They've got Williams on Dye now, and they're in a man-to-man. They got out of that zone.
Tyrese Bryson on Dye now. Abacoita, shot clock at 10. Matt Lee shot fake. Shire's open for 3. Doesn't get the bounce that time.
Well, he hit the rim. That was a good shot. He was open. Well, Watkins comes out and sets a pick for Illinois State. It's really hard to get around him. Look at the pick.
Bryson hits the 3. Tyrese Bryson, 42% from behind the arc.
Well, Bryson's going to have to be covered better than that, and they're going to have to figure a way to defense that high pick that Watkins is setting out there. Watkins' man's going to have to come out on Bryson if necessary.
Roberson again with the drive. He has struggled from three-point range, and the drive has been there for him so far tonight.
He's bringing Lee up a little bit, so if there's a pick, Lee's got to take him.
Illinois State pulling their offense up for the free throw line this trip. And the three-pointer is good for Victor Williams, the freshman.
Well, Watkins setting all those picks out there is creating some problems for Bradley's defense, and Bradley's going to have to do a little better job of...
Rob Dye, tough shot. Roberson can't follow. 6'4", Eric Roberson, very athletic, but couldn't get the dunk down. Bradley goes to the break with a 2-point lead. The war on 74 is officially a shooting war now. Bradley, a 2-point lead over Illinois State, but the Redbirds have come back after I mentioned that it was a 9-point Bradley lead, and it was a key possession, and Victor Williams has come up big for Illinois State since then.
Yeah, offensively, Victor Williams has really given him a lift, but defensively, they've gotten out of the zone or the box and one they were in early in the game, and Bradley was getting too many easy shots, and now they're playing their regular man-to-man defense, and they've tightened the defense up like a little bit now, and the game looks like it's going to be a pretty nip and tuck game here, at least the rest of this half.
The Bradley scoreboard throughout the game on our telecast here in Peoria is sponsored by Graphic Express, your business printing resource. Senior Kyle Cartmill into the ball game. He's a senior out of Quincy, Illinois. Rob Dye gets his hand on that one. Rob, as we mentioned, the Valley leader in steals. He is now number 7 in the country. He's dropped off a little bit the last few games. He was up to number 3 in the country.
Well, with Cartmill in there, they've got another three-point shooter. They've got 3 great. Riley's 4. They've got 4 really excellent three-point shooters in there now.
Matt Lee with a post defense knocks it out of bounds.
I think Lee could have intercepted that ball instead of knocking it out of bounds that time.
This series dates back to 1904, but this has really turned into a rivalry after Dick Versace arrived in Peoria as head coach and Bob Donewald in Normal. Bryson the miss. Watkins strong for the rebound. It counts, and he'll go to the line.
Well, that was one of the keys that Bradley had to do, is keep Watkins off the board, and so far he's been a real man there at both ends of the floor on the rebounding.
He is so strong. He benches 345 pounds, squats 565 pounds. I didn't know a bar would hold that much weight. Leroy can throw him.
Well, he jumps extremely well, too, for a man his size.
Can't convert the three-point play. Watkins with 6. And we are even, 19 all with 10:35 left, first half. Bradley now a game and a half out of first place in the Valley. Evansville a 68-65 winner over Indiana State tonight. Dye. The miss there, and it's Riley with the rebound.
That was a good shot.
7-footer out of Texas.
It was a good-looking shot that Dye got off. It just didn't go in. He's going to have to keep shooting because he is so important to Bradley offensively. I don't think...
Stolen by Rob Dye. And he takes it all the way for the layup.
Well, Dye has it 7th in the nation in steals, but the last 4 games he's only had about 3 steals, and so he's got 2 already tonight, Lee.
He is now 5th on Bradley's single-season steals list. He just passed Percy Hawkins, who was a #1 draft pick of the Philadelphia 76ers back in 1988. Good company.
Bradley has no choice but to switch on all of those screens that Watkins is setting.
Inside to Riley. Passes out of the double team. Shot clock at 5. Williams with 4.
Good defense by
Cartmill with 2.
Yeah,
with 1. Three-pointer almost went. Illinois State hustles, but Bradley comes up with it. Eric Roberson kicks to Shire for 3. Gavin Shire is 4th in the Valley, 46% from three-point range, and yes, Shire is on fire.
Well, Bradley's made the last 2 baskets in transition. Another foul on Lee. I believe if they keep trying to get the ball into Watkins, he could foul a couple of Bradley players out of this game if they continue to do that.
That is 3 personal fouls on Matt Lee.
Well, Milo Kirsch hasn't played yet for Bradley.
Here's a look at Bradley in transition. Boy, you'd have never seen this from a Jim Molinari team 3 years ago. Milo Kirsch checks in for Lee, who sits down with 3 personal fouls already.
Well, that's what happens with a guy like... and Riley can shoot too good there, and he just got completely open. They just have to switch on those when you play Illinois State. You can't sit back and just let them shoot those wide open shots.
Kevin Clancy into the ball game, number 12 for Bradley. Dye rattles that one in and out. Kenneth Pearson the rebound for Illinois State. He's just into the ball game now for ISU. Reggie Hall in there for Bradley, number 21. Several changes as we approach the 8-minute mark. Williams drives and pulls up. Missed everything. He saw Milo Kirsch coming over for help. Here's the alley-oop to Roberson. Can't get it down. That's a couple of bunnies Eric Roberson has missed tonight.
Pass was just a little bit too late. He needed to get it to Eric just a little sooner. Bryson
for 3. He is a better player on one leg than most players with 2. 24 all.
He was on his way before his injuries, to perhaps leading the Missouri Valley in scoring this year, Lee. And his scoring average is down only because of his injury and the fact he hasn't played the minutes and had the opportunity to get as many shots.
Roberson's open for 3. He missed his last 3 three-point attempts in the previous 2 games.
Well, Bradley will be happy to see Roberson hit one because he hasn't had many threes lately. The last time against Illinois State, he was 6 for 6 from three-point land. Watkins is out of there now. Pearson isn't quite as awesome in setting those screens out there.
Milo Kirsch hits the floor, guarding Riley. Roberson got a hand on that one. Now Cartmill steals it away from him.
Well, that was a silly.
Roberson could have gotten whistled for a foul because he was hanging on to Cartmill to keep him from getting it.
Bradley was lucky on that possession there. They should have had a foul, and also they made a very careless pass.
We're under 7 minutes to go now. First half. Dye's open for 3.
He's shooting him just a little bit.
Reggie Hall got a hand on him. Well, when Dye struggles, he sometimes rushes his shot.
Yeah, and
he
it looks like
that.
The last couple times he's really rushed the shot.
27-24. Bradley. Cartmill for 3. Kirsch had it. Riley gets it, and he's fouled.
Well, Bradley Orbison had the rebound, and Dye kind of knocked it away from him to enable Riley to get his hands on the ball, and then picked up the foul.
Milo Kirsch, his first 15 foul on Bradley. Sean Riley goes to the line. He is #1 in the Valley, 12th nationally in free throwing at 88%, which is incredible when you consider he's 7 feet tall.
He's an excellent shooter. If you give him any kind of a shot facing the basket from 15 feet, he's even an excellent three-point shooter.
Gavin Shire back in for Bradley. Sean Jepson, freshman from Spring Valley Hall High School, in for Illinois State.
I think Riley and Watkins both are fifth-year players, Lee, if I'm not mistaken. Riley had to sit out a year after he transferred, and Watkins had an extra year when he started at Bradley.
Timeout on the floor. Jim Molinari's Braves down to a 1-point lead. Welcome back to Peoria, Illinois State. Back within a point, trailing Bradley 27-26. Prior to the season, Ron, Bradley talked a lot about playing an up-tempo game. We haven't seen as much of that lately, except where it's really an obvious place to run.
Well, I think that's because teams scout each other so much once you get in the conference play that they kind of know what you're doing, and you have to be careful that on what you do, and I think you become more conservative as the season goes on. I think that's what's happening here.
Rob Dye now, as we mentioned, 5th place on Bradley's single-season steals list. Earlier in the year, he was on pace to break Willie Scott's single-season record here at Bradley. Fallen a little off that lately. Cellular communications from Carver Arena for tonight's Bradley basketball telecast, made possible by our friends at Alltel. 27-26, 6:10 left here, first half.
I notice they're playing Gavin Shire pretty tight. They're not laying off of him at all.
Pass inside to Kirsch. The freshman kicks it out to Reggie Hall. 18-footer is no good. Illinois State can't control. Shire comes up with it. No call on the contact. Dye for 3.
Well, there's a break for Bradley, but it's hustled by Gavin Shire that saved the ball and gave a chance for Dye to hit the 3.
So long to his mini slump. He was 34% his last 3 games. He is heating it up tonight.
Well, the outside shooting has been pretty good so far.
Cartmill answers. The senior with his first bucket of the night.
They're 4 for 6, and Bradley's 5 for 9 threes.
Clancy's open for 3. The freshman walk-on from Niles Notre Dame. Little long on that attempt. Folks on Fox Sports Chicago tonight will recognize a lot of these young men out there tonight. A lot of them from the Chicagoland area. Cartmill for 3.
Well,
the senior makes 2 in a row, and Illinois State has their first lead.
Bradley's getting a little bit confused on those picks, and they're leaving guys wide open, and Illinois State's hitting the shots. Against Southern Illinois State.
Kirsch can't hang on. Loose ball.
Illinois State had a tough time shooting against Southern, and they had some shots. They just didn't shoot the ball well, but they're shooting the ball better tonight.
And they say it was not caused by the defense, so they go to the possession arrow, and that favors Bradley. More substitutions. Milo Kirsch now coming to the sideline.
Illinois State's hitting 50% right now, Lee, from the floor, and Bradley's hitting about 45%, and that's about the difference in the score. One of the officials tonight, Lee, is Ron Zetcher, who's a real veteran official, has worked a lot of NCAAs, and after suffering a big leg injury a couple years ago, he's been out of the Valley the last couple years, but we're glad to see him back because he's always been one of the top officials in the Valley, in fact, in the United States.
Bradley gets possession with 16 on the shot clock. Yeah, Ron Zetcher, Robert Staffen, David Hall our officials this evening.
David Hawley, relation to you?
No. There's a lot of us out here, though. The Halls are taking over. Kyle Cartmill whistled for his first personal, 4th team foul on Illinois State. There's David Hall, the official, Lee Hall, the announcer, Reggie Hall, the player, and Sean Jepson is from Spring Valley Hall. We're everywhere.
A couple of these, too.
It's our version of the New World Order. Inside, Reggie Hall can't convert. Watkins had a hand on it.
Well, that was a good shot, a good chance there, and Bradley couldn't take advantage of it because of Watkins' presence in there. So Bradley's getting some decent shots, but right now they're having a problem.
There's a look at the three-point shooting. Sean Jepson on cue fires one up for Illinois State. Ron Zetcher says foot on the line.
Coach Molinari's taking a 20-second timeout. Well, Illinois State's three-point shooting is really hurting Bradley here, and Bradley's not doing a good job of covering it.
.30 our score. Illinois State with a 4-point lead on the road. Sean Jepson had a toe on the line, but Illinois State is burning up the nets from outside. And Ron, one of your keys early was defend the three.
And Bradley's the leading team in the Missouri Valley at defending the threes. But the problem is Illinois State has 4 people that can really shoot the threes, and it's really hard to defend all of them.
Our MPC Top 3 brought to you by Paradise Hotel and Casino. Career steal, Steve Harns of Tulsa, #1, followed by Hersey Hawkins and Larry Bird. Steve Harris. .317 left, first half. Hall puts it on the floor, off the glass and good. He'll go to the line.
And ISU's back at his own defense. Well, they haven't called a lot of fouls, Lee, and there haven't been a lot of turnovers in this game. For a game with that's as intense and hard fought, usually you have a few more turnovers, but it's been a pretty error-free game and a pretty clean game.
Reggie Hall at the line from Providence St. Mel, the same school that brought Barney Mines to Bradley. Can't convert the three-point play. 34-32. Illinois State had gone on an 8-0 run to take the lead.
Coach Molinari wants them to come out further on their shooter.
Bryson blocked by Koida.
There was a foul they could have called there.
And Bradley can't come up with it.
Looked like that Dye was fouled there when he got the ball, but they didn't call it.
17 on the shot clock. I guess who pointed it out? The freshman, Sean Jepson. Very heady player for a freshman. 3-point shot. Somebody had a hand on it. Roberson got it. Bryson tipped it. Dye comes up with it. Just what you'd expect from Bradley and Illinois State. Hard fought, good hustle, close ball game. Shot clock at 10. Hall gives to Koida with 5. Jump hook, won't go. Watkins the rebound.
Now, Bradley's getting some good shots. They just can't get him to go down, and that's a little bit of the difference why Bradley's behind right now.
Leroy Watkins just dared Reggie Hall to shoot the 14-footer, and he wouldn't.
The other thing you don't want to do against Illinois State is foul them, because they're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the league.
Watkins inside, can't get it to go. Not only in the league, Ron, but in the country. They are up to #8 in the nation free throw shooting.
You don't want to foul, but you have to cover the three-point shooters, and Kevin Stallings is running a nice little offense there that's giving Bradley a lot of defensive problems, and Bradley's an excellent defensive team. So
Hall again in the lane, and a block called on. Oh, we've got one call on the block and one call on the charge. One official called a block. Zetcher called a charge. Now they're going to talk it over.
Officials are concurring. One called the foul on Illinois State and one called it on Bradley. We'll see what happens here.
And now Zetcher confers with Molinari. And I guess they will stay with the charge.
Most of that time that it happens, they give a foul on both players, and or they give no fouls and they just give it a held ball situation and use the alternate possession rule, but evidently they didn't want to do that.
16 fouls on Bradley. That's the first personal on Reggie Hall. Minute 10 left. 34-32, Illinois State. Their first meeting has been a turning point in each team's season. Bradley's gone 6-1 since then. Illinois State's gone 1-5. Shot clock at 8. Now 7. Bryson with 6. And a push on Rob Dye. And that puts Illinois State in the bonus. And we'll send Bryson to the line. Ryan Crowley back in, replacing Jepson. Shire back in for Bradley. It's a revolving door down at the scorer's table. Pearson in for Riley for Illinois State.
Well, the only person that's in foul trouble is Lee for Bradley. He has 3 fouls. Nobody else has more than 1.
Bryson, 85% free thrower, made 16 straight earlier in the season. Bryson gives the Redbirds a 4-point lead with 48 seconds left.
Bradley's only shot 2 free throws so far, and Illinois State is 7 for 9. So they've kind of built their margin at the free throw line here.
13-second difference in the shot clock and the game clock.
Neither Dye or Shire have had a shot in the last several possessions down the floor, and that's one of the keys for Illinois State.
Roberson, tough shot. Koita had it.
That wasn't a very good shot by Eric that time.
Bryson comes up with it. Timeout, Illinois State. It's a 20. There's Kevin Stallings. Never been associated with a losing team in 23 seasons. High school, junior college. Played 3 years at Purdue. Then as an assistant at Purdue, Kansas, and head coach at Illinois State. Never had a losing season.
Well, he's had quite a record in all aspects of the game, and I expect him to continue that, whether it's at Illinois State or wherever his future endeavors may be. He's an excellent coach and was a great player. I recruited him in high school.
That record might be in danger. The Redbirds 13-11. Stay tuned after the game. News 25 Extra continues our coverage of Bradley versus Illinois State. The post-game show, full night of the War on 74 here on WEEK TV 25 locally. 10 seconds left in the half. They go inside to Watkins. Fall away jumper won't go, but Watkins will go to the line. Reggie Hall called for the hold, his second. Defensive replacements ready to come in for Illinois State. Leroy only had 2 points in 14 minutes against Bradley in their first meeting. He was limited by that ankle injury.
In that first meeting, though, Riley had 20 points, and L.D. Murdoch, who has since been injured and out for the season, also had 20 points. So it was the two big guys that hurt us the first game and hurt Bradley. And now this game, it's really more been the outside shooting.
And Leroy Watkins is one of the great stories in college basketball. Lost a year of eligibility as a Prop 48 early, but then regained that year by graduating in 4 years. A new rule. And Dye is fouled at half court by Vic Williams. A freshman mistake there with 1.4 on the clock.
Well, Bradley's not in the 1-on-1, so it wasn't a bad foul, really, when you consider it, Lee.
Dye tried to get the shot off and get 3 free throws for it. Shire for 3 at the buzzer, won't go. Illinois State goes to the locker room with a 5-point lead on the road at second place Bradley, 37-32. We'll take a look at the first half. And we are back at Carver Arena in Peoria. The second half just about ready to get underway. Illinois State leading Bradley 37-32. Here's a look at our first half stats. And Illinois State getting the better of it from the field. They are 5 of 8 from three-point range. Bradley 5 of 11. Free throws, there's a disparity there, favoring Illinois State 8-1 at the line. Some of that because of the inside superiority for the Redbirds. Illinois State out rebounding Bradley, and the Braves with only 2 turnovers in the first half. Individual stats, first for the visitors from Normal. Tyrese Bryson with 10 points, Victor Williams 8, Leroy Watkins 7, Kyle Cartmill 6, Sean Riley with 4, and Sean Jepson with 1 basket from the field. For Bradley, it's Rob Dye leading the way with 12, Eric Roberson with 7, Gavin Shire a couple of 3-pointers, Abba Koida a 3-point play, Lee and Hall with 2 each.
That figures.
Lee and Hall, and Lee Hall and Ron Ferguson. Well, second half keys, the one key that we talked about early was defend the 3 for Bradley. They were not able to do that.
No, and Illinois State, you got to give Illinois State credit. They ran a nice little offense there and created a lot of problems. And the quickness of Williams has really surprised me a little bit. I didn't realize he was that quick. He's penetrating and getting the ball to the 3-point shooters. But Bradley's got to get to the free throw line in the second half if they want to win this basketball game. You can't shoot 2 free throws. And I don't know whether it's taking the ball to the basket more. Maybe Bradley's trying to shoot too many pull-up jump shots instead of taking the ball inside. But with Watkins waiting for you inside, it's hard for you to get yourself disciplined to do that.
11,030 on hand here this evening. That is a new Carver Arena record.
I wonder who counted it. Corky?
Illinois State opens the second half with the ball. It's Bryson, Riley, Watkins, Williams, and Crowley, the starters in there for Illinois State.
And a foul.
And the bucket counts. Jerome Robinson whistled for his first.
It looked like they had Watkins and Riley both at the low post there. They're playing a double post, and they're just going to work the ball inside, and then if we cover them, they're going to throw it back outside, and Bradley's going to have to play really solid defense now because they've got some catching up to do.
Ryan Crowley, the junior from Naperville Central, with the 3-point play, and it's an 8-point Illinois State lead, their biggest of the night. They once trailed it by 9. Roberson inside the 3-point line. Roberson's found his touch tonight. He has 9.
Bradley going to have to shoot a little bit better than they did the first half, and as I said, get to the free throw line. I'm impressed with Illinois State's offense. They're running a nice little offense, and it's giving Bradley a lot of problems.
Matt Lee tips it. Kawita comes up with it. Well, Illinois State shooting 50% in the first half, Ron. No team has shot, only one team has shot over 40% here in Carver Arena this year. Robinson can't make it. Dye the rebound against Riley. Dye had Riley hooked with the left arm, but Riley gets whistled for the foul.
And Dye got the rebound. Robinson, it looked to me like they're taking the ball right into the basket, and instead he chose to take the pull-up jump shot and missed, and Bradley got the rebound. or got a foul, actually.
Matt Lee swung to the hole for Bradley. Bradley's back within 4. Will leave his.
Boy, that looks like one of my dunks. I'm always a little short on my dunks.
Yeah, he only gets a 3.5 for style points, but you know what? He got 2 on the board, and that's where it really counts. Eric Roberson with 11 after totaling just 7 points in his last 2 outings. 2-point ball game. Victor Williams left his feet that last time down the floor, Ron, and didn't really know what to do with the ball. He had no idea when he went up with it. Riley walked.
Well, Bradley needs some help like that because, boy, if they get the ball into those 2 big guys, it's tough for Bradley to defend that.
And with Murdoch on the bench after tearing up his knee, 6'9", 240, they had quite a formidable front line.
Well, and look what kind of a team they'd have if Rico Hill had to come back for his last year.
Robinson left open. Jerome Robinson, his first 2 of the night, and we are tied again at 40. An 8-0 run by the Braves.
Well, I sense that Bradley's playing a little more aggressively defensively.
11,000 plus on their feet in Peoria. Riley, elbow jumper, no good. ISU the rebound, tipped away, and a foul on Tyrese Bryson. Number Bryson. 1 on Bryson.
First foul on Bryson.
Gavin Shire checks in for Bradley, senior out of Burlington, Illinois. He has now jumped into 3rd place on the Bradley Braves in scoring, 7.5 a game. He replaces Dye.
Dye won't be out long, you can bet that, but you've got to give him a little bit of a breather because he plays so hard offensively and defensively.
Now Victor Williams whistled for the foul.
Well, all of a sudden now they're calling a few fouls. In the first half, they didn't call hardly any.
First on Williams, 3rd team foul on ISU here in the second half. We played just over 3 minutes. Illinois State built an 8-point lead right out of the chute. Now we're even. Inside to Shire, foul committed before he went to the hoop. Riley whistled for his 3rd personal.
Well, Illinois State's picked up 4 quick fouls in the second half.
Kenneth Pearson will check in for Riley, who sits down with 3 personals.
And that's the key for Bradley to get to the free throw line in the second half. The first half, they got there 1 time.
Robinson tries to backdoor, throws it to Koida. Robinson saves it and goes into the front row of photographers. Matt Lee, top of the key. It's good. Matt Lee with 6 points. Now Bradley a 2-point lead.
I heard Coach Moe said no, 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 no until it went in, and then he said yes, yes, yes.
Matthew Lee, junior out of St. Paul, Minnesota, has increased his range this year. Bryson fouled on the 3-point attempt, and he'll go to the line. Eric Roberson whistled for his first personal.
Well, that was an ill-advised foul, and too bad because Bryson is just a great free throw shooter. Great shooter, but especially a great free throw shooter.
Fouled on the 22-footer. Bryson will go to the line. He is an 85% free thrower. 5th in the Valley is 17 points a game.
That's Eric's first foul, and he normally has at least 3 by this time. He's fouled out of about 7 games this year, and by far leads Bradley in fouls. Well, you put he or Riley to the line like that, you might as well just give them the points and don't waste your time shooting.
Bryson had 28 earlier this year against Wisconsin.
In the games when he scores high, he usually gets a lot of free throws because he makes almost all of them.
Bryson with 13, Illinois State back to a 1-point lead. 15:52 to play in the ball game.
7 for 7 for Bryson from the free throw line.
Roberson in traffic, fouled by Watkins.
All right, a chance for Bradley to get to the free throw line. Let's see whether Bradley can take advantage now of the opportunity to shoot some free throws. Illinois State sure has, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's an important part of the game, and I know when I coached, I said it drove me nuts, those missed free throws.
Roberson, 61% free thrower. His increased percentage from three-point range has not carried over to free throw shooting.
Well, I think Eric's been a little psyched on his free throw shooting lately because he has missed a lot lately, and he's actually shot better from the field in the last 7 or 8 games than he has from the free throw line, and I know that gets to you a little bit.
Junior out of Pittsburgh would probably be playing in the Big East were it not for knee problems. As a junior and senior in high school, he was being looked at, but those schools backed away, and Bradley found a gem. 15:44 left. We're tied at 43. Lee Hall, Ron Ferguson back in Peoria. Illinois State and Bradley tied at 43. Thanks in part to the play of Eric Roberson, who has struggled offensively of late. This is how you get well right here. Although it wasn't pretty, it still counts.
Well, the shooting percentages for the game have come pretty close now. Illinois State shooting 48% and 47% for Bradley. So now that's evened out a little bit. And rebounds are 19-18 in favor of Illinois State. Illinois State's had 7 turnovers, only 2 for Bradley. 2 turnovers for Bradley, Lee, would seem to indicate that they'd be way ahead the way they've been playing this year, but that's not the way it's worked out so far.
Bradley Trivia is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Bradley's 10 largest crowds in Carver Arena. How many were against Illinois State? Well, we just had to update the answer. We will have that answer for you a bit later on. Look at Kevin Stallings, who says, well, some people say that you can throw out the records when Bradley plays Illinois State. He doesn't believe you can. However, if you look at the scoreboard, I think Kevin may have to adjust his thinking tonight.
Well, most of the games are very competitive. I can't remember too many blowouts in this series. I have a tough time.
There were.
There might have been a couple games, Lee, that looked like blowouts right at the end when there's a lot of fouling and somebody makes a lot of free throws and they look like a 10-point game or something like that. But most of the time, they're well contested almost to the bitter end. The bitter end for the team that loses it. It's not a bitter end for the team that wins. And the series has been very close all these years.
Guida whistled for his second personal. Yeah, the local viewers got to look at all that as Matthew Lee picks up his 4th personal.
And he fouled Bryson, and that's the guy you don't want to foul.
Matt Lee trying to help out on the screen, and tough to back off a guy who shoots it as well as Bryson does. You can't leave him open.
And most of Bradley's fouls are on shooters and who are shooting, and consequently they go to the line. Well, he missed one. Maybe we talked him out of that one there by telling everybody what a great free throw shooter.
Well, he is. He made 7 in a row. He's actually, this is amazing to me, he is actually left-handed. The only thing he does right-handed is shoot basketball. And look, jeez. He's awfully good at that. 14 points for Bryson. Illinois State back up by 1. Rob Dye hasn't scored here in the second half for Bradley.
It's been hard for Gavin Shire to get a shot, too.
He gets one here for 3. It's off the mark. Victor Williams hopped out of bounds, stepped out of bounds.
That was kind of an ill-advised play by Williams. Should have let the ball go out of bounds in that case, Lee, and he would have had get it so close to the basket. Most coaches want their players to get the ball because you don't know how the official's going to call it. But in that case, that was probably not the right decision.
14:59 left, 44-43 Illinois State. Hope you're enjoying Missouri Valley Conference basketball here on WEEK and on Fox Sports Chicago. Shire picks up the loose ball and almost makes the three.
Well,
now, Leroy Watkins didn't bother diving after that one.
They let that one go and got the ball back anyway. So that mistake by Illinois State was of no consequence. Now and Riley's out. Riley's got 3 fouls. I'm sure that's why he's out.
Roberson very close to coming up with a steal there. Shot clock at 8 for Bryson. Kicks it out to Williams with 5. 4 on the shot clock. 3 inside with 2. Crowley with 1 on the shot clock makes the layup.
Well, Illinois State scored several baskets, with the clock running out. They've done a great job.
Rob Dye blocked by Leroy Watkins. Kawita, the offensive rebound, can't convert. Gets it back, blocked again by Watkins. Leroy Watkins, the only player in ISU history to have 100 blocks and 100 steals.
Well, Coach Molinari wanted a foul in there someplace, but didn't get the call, and Bradley does get the ball out of bounds.
4 blocks in the ball game for Leroy. The only player in Bradley history to have over 100 blocks and 100 steals, Mitchell J.J. Anderson, who just had his number retired here in Peoria Saturday. Roberson drives baseline, blocked by Leroy Watkins. Little late getting over to the baseline.
When you run into Leroy Watkins, and the guy that's hurt is Roberson. He's
3 personals on Watkins.
I mean, that was just a... Chicago Bears don't have a defensive player that can hit like that, Lee, I'll guarantee you. I mean, he wasn't trying to injure Roberson or anything. That's just how solid he is, and you bounce off of him, and you're going to be hurt.
Well, Bradley trainer Sean Payne out to take a look at Eric Roberson.
That's 3 fouls on Watkins now, too, Lee. He's taking him out of the ball game, but that's something that could tighten up. The trainer's looking at it now to see if he can keep it loose.
Now, you talk about Leroy in football.
Well,
it's not too far-fetched. Marcus Pollard went from Bradley, never playing college football, and now plays for the Indianapolis Colts.
I thought he was trying to shoot the ball there. Evidently, he wasn't.
No argument from the Bradley bench.
No, evidently not.
New shot clock for the Braves. They trail by 3. Dive. Looks to even it up. Can't convert it.
Bradley came out hot at the beginning of the second half, and then now has cooled down. And in fact, both teams have slowed down a little bit here. Illinois State in a little foul trouble with their big guys with 3 apiece, but Matt Lee's got 4 for Bradley.
Kawita having trouble matching the muscle of Sean Riley down low. Ten on the shot clock. Bryson for 3. That's off. 13 minutes left in regulation. The Braves a perfect 11-0 here at home this year. Kyle Cartmill called for the hand check. His second. That's the 7th team foul on Illinois State. So Bradley in the bonus with 12:44 to play, Ron.
Well, that's kind of just the opposite of the first half. I don't understand. I don't think the game's being officiated any difference. It's just that Illinois State's coming out maybe a little more aggressive the second half and are getting called for some of the fouls.
Jerome Robinson at the line. Sophomore out of Mississauga, Ontario.
Yep.
And the 74% free thrower misses the first one. He has struggled. His entire game has struggled since he hurt his knee earlier this year.
Of course, getting the free throws doesn't mean much if you don't make them.
Neither neither team has scored lately. Pearson missed the dunk.
Well, there's another break for Bradley.
And he was wide open for that one. Suddenly, this has turned into a defensive struggle. Koida wants it, gets it.
Good job by Hall. He penetrated and gave the ball to Koida and went up strong with the ball.
The junior from New Trier has 5. Bradley back within 1. Cartmill's open. 4-3.
Well, that was the same thing they did the first half, and penetrated and then kicked it out. And Cartmill, when he gets wide open, he's as good a three-point shooter as we have in the league.
Cartmill's 3rd 3 of the night.
They're back in the diamond and 1 now. I saw Coach Stalling signal the diamond and 1 defense, so that's going to protect Riley a little bit in there foul-wise.
I think it's a triangle and 2, Coach. They're trailing Dye and Shire. Crowley got a hand on it. Pearson comes up with it. Robinson takes it back away from him.
Looked like Robinson may have fouled that time there.
See what you think. Aren't they staying man-to-man on Dye and Shire here?
It looks, yep, you're right.
I'm good at geometry. That's how I figured that out. Hall, the air ball. 12 on the shot clock. No reset, and a foul on Riley. That is 4 on Sean Riley.
Well, Bradley offensively now, it looks like they're a little bit disorganized against that defense. Diamond and 2. And Coach Stallings got into that defense to protect Riley, and Riley picks up the foul. Sometimes the best laid plans go astray, Lee.
Abba Koida at the line. Played for Mel Sheets at New Trier. Former Bradley Brave Rick Malnati now the head coach there. He was an assistant when Abba was a player there, and he misses the free throw. Bradley getting to the line, not converting.
Well, when you miss your free throws at home, that's certainly not a good sign.
And Bradley was perfect down the stretch at Northern Iowa. The final minutes of regulation and in overtime. And they've struggled here tonight in the last couple of minutes. Shot clock now at 10. The Bradley bench yells, don't foul. Cartmill with 5, with 4, with 3. Crowley comes up with it with 1. He beat the shot clock a minute ago, but comes up off the mark this time. Dive, stutter step. A lot of contact, no whistle. Illinois State comes away with it. We've played half of the second half. Illinois State a 4-point lead.
Well, I'm not sure where Dye was going with the ball that time, but probably wasn't a very smart move, but he was trying to make something happen.
Cartmill loses his footing. Kenneth Pearson the miss. Koida and Hall fight for the rebound, and Illinois State gets it. New shot clock for the Birds. Jepson nowhere to go. Hall gets it, takes it away, and gives it to Dye.
Well, that was kind of a strange. Both teams kind of took turns giving the ball back and forth to each other, and nobody got a shot. Dye hasn't had a point the second half, and I think he's only had 1 shot, Lee. Got to get him back in the ball game here somewhere.
Illinois State back in the man-to-man. Hall turns in off the glass and good move by Reggie Hall. He has 4 points. And Bradley's back within 2.
Hall comes awful close to getting offensive fouls there. Looks like he leans right into the defensive player, but they didn't call it.
Jepson thought about the 3.
He wants to shoot it. He looks like a player that, with limited minutes, he wants to get the ball up if he can.
He was the Class A Player of the Year a year ago. Watkins steps into the lane and hits.
That's penetration again, Cartmill penetrated, kicked the ball back to Watkins, and the defense has to sink back in to stop the penetration, and Watkins gets a easy short little jump shot.
He has 9. That's his first bucket of the second half.
So your guy just keeps running around, and he's having a tough time getting a shot.
Now it's triangle and 2 again. Dye. Jump step into the lane. That's the call you always want traveling on.
Yeah, and I still think it's traveling. I still think.
A foul instead goes against Illinois State. The blocking
4 on
foul
Watkins,
and that's 4 on Leroy.
Stallings wanted traveling too from his vantage point. I could see him down there. Well, Bradley offensively is having a problem right now. They're not really getting good shots, and they're not real sharp offensively, but the game's only 4 points, so it's still anybody's ball game.
Kevin Stallings forced to put in one big man with 4 fouls for another big man with 4 fouls. Riley replaces Watkins.
Bradley needs to do something to get the crowd back in the game.
Rob Dye misses his first free throw attempt of the night. And now a foul on Jepson. Even Rob Dye can't hit from the line.
Well, the question is going to be, can Bradley make any of the free throws? Right now, they've missed enough free throws to, to be ahead in this basketball game. But that's why they shoot them, I guess, Lee, instead of just giving them to you.
The good news for Bradley now is they are in the double bonus. Kevin Clancy goes to the line from Niles, Notre Dame. The same high school that gave Bradley Jimmy and Tommy Les. Clancy an 82% free thrower, his first point of the night.
Crowd gives him a big hand because Bradley has not done well here the second half shooting free throws, but a lot of time left in this game. You can turn that around real quick.
Kevin played for Dennis Zelasco up at Niles, misses the second.
Yeah. It's only the third free throw that Bradley's made. Puts a lot of pressure on you defensively when you don't come away with something on a shooting call.
3-point Illinois State lead. The Redbirds lost to Bradley at home last month. They're trying to return the favor here. 9 on the shot clock. 4. Bryson with 3. Leans in, throws it up. Pearson puts it up. Riley gets the rebound. And a foul will go against Bradley. And I believe it's Abba Koida. Very late whistle there. Foul is on Koida. And we are going to a timeout. It's the third on Koida. 51-48. Bradley down by 3.
Who is free to join a special place built on value and trust?
We all need somebody to lean on.
Who can join a place where people come first, not profit?
We all need somebody to
You can join because you live in a special place. The 9 counties of SEFCU land. Here, we all have the freedom.
Bradfield's Computer Supply is in the business of making your company work more efficiently. Bradfield's provides the latest technology and is Central Illinois' largest stocking dealer. We have all the tools you'll need, and most supplies can be ordered with next-day delivery. Call Bradfield's Computer Supply today.
It's the new year, and we're ready with Schwinn's Winter Workout Sale at Russell's. We've got our best treadmill selection ever with the latest folding technology. Come see and save now at the new Russell's in Washington.
Stay tuned for the post-game report following tonight's game. Y2K and your travel plans tonight at 10.
.7:16 left, 51-48. Illinois State the lead. They have 6 3-pointers on the night, Ron.
Well, the difference in the game hasn't been the 3-pointers the second half. The second half has been a pretty evenly played game, and I think the story for Bradley is the missed free throws, and for Illinois State, probably the foul trouble that their big men are in.
Bradley now 3 of 9 at the free throw line. Bradley Trivia brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Of Bradley's 10 largest crowds in Carver Arena, how many were against Illinois State? Out of 10, that would be 4, including tonight's game, 11,030 the attendance. Here's a look at the free throw shooting. Illinois State 13 of 16. Bradley 33% at the free throw line, and that's not any good for a grade school team.
Especially on the home court like that. You think your home court, you're...
Illinois State ball. And that's not a popular call here. And we've got another timeout. Hall had it, Clancy, and they fought over it. Riley tipped it up off the basket standard, but it's Illinois State ball with 7:12 left. Illinois State a 3-point lead over Jim Molinari and the Braves. Cellular communications from Carver Arena for tonight's Bradley basketball broadcast, made possible by our friends at Alltel. Ron, you talked about the free throw breakdown. Bradley 3 of 9 for the game, 2 of 7 here in the second half.
Right, and actually Illinois State has more fouls, 16 to 13, and the free throw line is the difference in the ball game right now. Bradley has actually 3 turnovers in this game, which has got to be the low, maybe for 3 years for Bradley, but Illinois State has 9, so it's a strange score for the type of the statistics. That's why statistics don't tell the whole story.
7:12 left. Illinois State ball.
Clancy's in there covering Carpenter. He's awful quick too.
Roberson comes up with the steal and can't hang on.
Nope.
Be 19 on the shot clock.
Eric tries to go with the ball so quickly that he doesn't. They gave him possession. They're going to rewind the clock. I don't think he ever had possession. Well, they're changing it back again. I think if Eric would have just grabbed that ball, Lee, instead of trying to take off with it, he probably would have been able to save it.
Going to reset the shot clock to 19 seconds.
I think that was a correct call.
No, he didn't have possession. There's an interesting call Sunday in Illinois State's game against Southern Illinois. The Southern player was able to jump, leap out of bounds, catch the ball, and throw it back, and they said he didn't have possession when he did that. And I thought he did. Victor Williams bounces it no good. Roberson the rebound. He's Bradley's leading rebounder, 5.2 a game. Braves down 3. Hall hesitated but makes the basket. He has 6. And Bradley's back within 1.
Well, looks like it's going to be another one of those games.
Roberson almost came up with the steal.
Almost a foul, too. Bradley has done a better job the second half of defense in the outside shot. Probably as soon as I say that.
Shot clock at 5. Bryson with 3. Now 2. Leans in with 1. No good. Koita the rebound. One-handed. That's 9 rebounds for Abba Koita. Make that 10. That's a career high. Clancy hits the floor. Good pass, Koita to Hall, and Bryson knocks it out of bounds. Jim Molinari wants a foul as Reggie Hall is
I see Zetcher says it's
in
all
pain
ball.
as he gets up.
He said all ball, but how can his finger hurt then if it's all ball?
Now, that's a medical question I can't answer.
I don't either, right?
Sean Riley's a pre-med major. Let's get him out there. There he is. Ask him.
I thought he had a broken hand the way he was laying in pain on the ground there under the basket.
Lee in for Hall. And when your name's Lee Hall, you love that as an announcer.
Well, Illinois State's going with both of their big men now, both of them with 4 fouls with 5 minutes and 44 seconds to play.
Really no choice for Kevin Stallings in that situation. Both of them with 4 fouls with not that much time left.
Yeah, that was a
Bradley turnover. They haven't had many of them.
No, and they can't afford many the way they're doing offensively. Rob Dye has not scored a point in the second half, and you know, that's tough.
Watkins inside, foul on Roberson. 2 on Eric Roberson, 16 foul on Bradley.
Well, Illinois State will be in the, they shoot 2 this time, but they'll be in the bonus on the next foul.
Leroy Watkins at the line. I mentioned this earlier and didn't really get to finish it, Ron. Leroy lost that year of eligibility as a freshman. He originally signed with DePaul and then was Prop 48, but then got that year of eligibility back because he graduated in 4 years. So
right.
it's a great story and a great compliment to just his tenacity and staying with it.
Well, the NCAA changed the rule while he was a student, and then consequently he took advantage of that when they changed it.
The first member of his family to get a college degree. 52-50. The Illinois State lead is 2 with 5:05 to play. Clancy drives and gets double teamed.
At this stage, you've got to say Illinois State's done a great job on Rob Dye because he's really having a struggle to get a shot. And still there.
Shot clock at 5. Clancy puts up from 3. And Koida pulls Sean Riley down, which isn't easy to do. That's 4 on Koida. And Illinois State is in the bonus. Pearson in for Watkins. Riley will go to the line, and we mentioned that he is money there.
Yeah, he's one of the top shooters in the nation. Free throw or any place, his shooting percentage overall is just excellent.
That's only his 5th point of the night. He had 20 in game 1 with Bradley.
He hasn't had many shots, though, Lee, and in the first game, he played outside a lot because they had Murdoch playing inside, and he was able to get the outside shot down.
Illinois State's lead is 4.
Bradley's got to find some way to manufacture some shots. They're not getting very many shots. That's the first open shot that Dye's had.
And he nails it. 15 points tonight for Rob Dye, and he gets Bradley back within 1. Clancy almost comes up with the steal. Roberson ties it up. Should be Bradley ball. Defense caused the jump ball. That's a new rule this year. Defensive tie-up. Great play by the junior, Eric Roberson.
Comes Watkins back in now. I think Kevin probably is going to leave the 2 big guys in there because there's not enough time left, and if one of them falls out, you still got the other one.
Bradley down 1. Inside give to Koida, thinks the better of it against Riley. Roberson almost loses it out of bounds. Pull-up jumper, no good. Hall there for the follow. Reggie Hall nearing a career high. He has 8.
Well, that got the fans.
Bradley has the lead. Their first of the second half. No, their first since it was 42-40.
That got the Bradley fans back in this ball game, and the fans are really instrumental here, and they haven't really been in this thing tonight too much because Illinois State's been ahead most of the game.
3:25 left. Illinois State looking for just their 3rd road win of the year. Bryson drives on Clancy, and Clancy picks up the personal.
And he had the angle on Clancy, and there was no defensive help coming over. They do as good a job, Illinois State, of running their 10-second offense to come up with a good shot. They either get fouled, they drop the ball up to a wide open guy for a layup, or they kick it out for the 3. They've got a great little offense there when they get down to the final 10 seconds. Bradley's played great defense for 25 seconds, and then they come out of it. Oh, what a break. There's a break for Bradley.
Bryson's missed 2 of his last 3 from the strike.
Oh, I thought,
Hall for 3. It's a little bit out of his range.
Well, I don't think, don't foul him. I don't think Reggie should have taken that shot, but that's, Coach Mo feels the same way.
Jim Molinari says to go in the second half. Creighton leads Northern Iowa by 17. Evansville already a winner tonight. Bradley down a game and a half in the standings. Williams had it knocked away by Roberson. Looked like a clean block, but Roberson's whistled for his 3rd foul. Take another look.
Well, it was difficult to see. Well, it was hard to tell. It could have been a foul.
When you come over the top like that, a lot of times you're going to get whistled for.
He probably got the ball, but he probably got a piece of his wrist, too. Well, that probably was a good call.
74% free thrower. Victor Williams, the freshman, and now Illinois State is catching whatever Bradley has at the line.
They've been watching the Bradley free throw shooters, and they trying to help him a little bit, I guess.
Williams makes the second. We've got a timeout on the floor. 2:51 remaining in regulation, all tied at 55.
I think that's a little bit because Bradley tightened up the defense. They're both Illinois State's 42% and Bradley's 43%.
Only one team has shot better than 40% from the field here in Carver Arena this season. That was Wichita State. That's 1 out of 11.
He's playing Reggie inside. Well, I don't. Bradley's kind of.
I'll let Rob Dye go to work with 7 on the shot clock. Leans in, puts it up over Riley, can't get it. Koita had it, now Dye gets it back. Abba Koita is Bradley's leading offensive rebounder, and he got a hand on that one to keep it alive for the Braves.
Well, that wasn't a good shot. In fact, I think Dye traveled there.
Koita tripped over the 3-point line. Clancy around a screen. Pass inside, tipped away. Who wants it? Leroy Watkins comes away with it.
That wasn't a very good offensive set for Bradley there. I'm not sure what they were trying to get there, but that certainly didn't get anything out of that. First place, Clancy's got to shoot the ball. They can't just let...
Back cut by Bryson, blocked. Bradley on the run.
Who blocked that?
Roberson got the block and then has his shot blocked. Here's Bryson. Clancy tried to block it, but Bryson scores the layup, and it's an Illinois State 2-point lead. Bryson with 16. Jim Molinari wants timeout with 1:14 left.
Bradley's last couple possessions offensively have not been very good, and they have no one to blame but themselves. They can't blame the officials because they're calling them the same way both ways. And
22nd timeout for Jim Molinari's Braves.
Actually, Eric had no place to go there. Roberson and...
Great block by Roberson.
Yeah. As long as they call them both ways, you can't argue about the officiating. I don't know where
Roberson tried to drive Riley, and Riley got a hand on it.
Well, he's trying to get fouled. He's trying to make something happen, and they haven't done a good job, Bradley, running their offense here the last 3 minutes of the game here.
Final score, Southwest Missouri State over Southern Illinois, 72-68 in overtime. The Bears come to Peoria Saturday night. So Southwest is now 9-5. Bradley needs a win, or they would be tied for second with Southwest.
Bradley's just not getting very many good shots. Dye had one good shot the second half, and he hit it.
1 minute left in regulation. Hall up strong, can't get it, gets his own rebound, goes up again, and he'll go to the line. And that's 5 on Leroy Watkins. Watkins fouls out with 10 points and 4 rebounds. And if you don't watch a lot of Missouri Valley Conference basketball and you don't know about these two schools, if you haven't watched a lot of their games or know a lot about their history, you probably think, well, that's just a couple of announcers pumping up the rivalry down there in the cornfield country. But let me tell you what, this is like this just about every time these two teams meet. Watkins goes to the bench. Maybe the last Bradley ISU meeting of his career, pending the Missouri Valley Conference tournament later this month in St. Louis.
Well, the game may not artistically, you know, the game probably wasn't played as well the second half as it was the first half, but nobody can say that it wasn't played hard, and certainly the officials didn't have any determination on the outcome. Bradley missed a lot of free throws.
Reggie Hall, 59% free thrower. His first free throw attempt of the night bounces good. That ties a career high for the sophomore out of St. Mel. And Kevin Stallings calls timeout. A 20-second timeout for Kevin Stallings with 55.6 seconds left.
Well, Bradley will get the ball back regardless. It's at least a two-possession game here.
Join Ron and me here on WEEK for our next Bradley Braves telecast. Saturday, February 20th, the Braves go for the sweep against Wichita State. Shockers have had their problems lately. Maurice Evans is back in uniform. We'll have all the action live from Wichita Saturday, February 20th, a week from Saturday at 7:30 right here on WEEK 25. What do you do here if you're Bradley, Ron, if Hall makes it?
You got to just play tough defense, and you know, and of course, Illinois State will at least try to get fouled and try to get to the free throw line at least, and then you know, they're a pretty good free throw shooting team, and Bradley will have to try to get the ball without a score change and hope to get the last shot.
For the tie, Reggie Hall, a career high with the game on the line, steps up and hits two free throws. We're tied with 50 seconds left. Second difference in the game clock and the shot clock.
Bradley will get the ball back and have plenty of time to get a shot off. It's the question of whether Illinois State scores. Looks like they're going to wait. And
another fantastic finish for Bradley and ISU. Jerome Robinson the steal. Quickly ahead, the layup, and Bradley has a 2-point lead with 22.9 left.
Stallings is going to call. Oh, no, he's not going to call a timeout.
Stallings opts to go, and Williams missed it. Here comes Bradley. Roberson.
Oh!
Lost it out of bounds.
Eric!
With 7.3 left.
Plenty of time for a good shot.
7.3 left. Bradley's lead is 2, but ISU has the ball. 7.3 seconds left in Peoria. Bradley a 59-57 lead. Offense from defense here. Jerome Robinson comes up with the ball in the layup and gives Bradley the lead. Bradley had a chance to ice it, but Eric Roberson couldn't hang on to the pumpkin.
There's a case so that the defensive player had pretty good position. He should have just brought the ball back out, and he could have held it for about another 4 or 5 seconds. And then Illinois State would have had to foul, and then there would have only been maybe 2 seconds left in the game, and it would have been difficult. But now Illinois State, 7 seconds is plenty of time to get a good shot off, or a foul.
Post-game coverage of the War on 74 coming up immediately following the conclusion of this ball game here locally on WEEK.
Now I think a foul will have to be a pretty good one, or they won't call it. I don't think it'll just be a touch foul.
And Illinois State is in the double bonus on the next Bradley foul. Jepson with it, the freshman. Gives to Bryson. Puts it up for the tie, and we've got overtime. Tyrese Bryson, the sophomore out of Stephen Decatur, ties it up, and we're going to play at least another 5 minutes.
Molinari wanted a travel, and he probably did, but they're not going to call a travel in that case, Lee. They're not going to call it. He took about 3 steps there, but they just don't call it in that case when the ball game's on the line, and I think that was the correct call.
We'll be back with overtime from Peoria. It's another classic, 59-59, and we're going to overtime. In our half-hour pregame special, the War on 74, we looked at some of the best ball games in this series, and a lot of them went down to the wire. Hersey Hawkins beat Illinois State at the wire in Tulsa. Jimmy Les tied the game and sent it to overtime here in Peoria in '86. Barney Mines hit a bucket with 4 seconds left at Horton Fieldhouse back in '82. Sonny Roberts made a bucket here with 5 seconds left for Illinois State back in the early '90s. Another classic here tonight, 59-59. Leroy Watkins is on the bench as Rob Dye hits the bucket, just his second since halftime.
And Riley's playing with 4 fouls, so Illinois State is, foul-wise, is in a worse position than Bradley here.
Illinois State has not played an overtime game this season. Bradley is 1-0. And Cartmill turns it over.
Matt Lee has 4 fouls, and Coeta have 4 fouls for Bradley. But they still have Kirch to come in and back them up, and then Reggie Hall can play in there too. Especially if Riley gets out of there, then they're back down the side. I'll tell you, Bryson's a better defensive player than I thought he was, I'll guarantee you.
Hall, nice pass to Coeta, has it blocked by Pearson. Here comes Illinois State with a chance to tie or take the lead with a 3. Victor Williams for 3, in and out. Coeta with the rebound. He's got 12. And a foul on Riley is his 5th. He can't believe it.
I'm not so sure about that one either, and neither can Coach Stallings. I think he was that looks like that one could have gone uncalled because they haven't called many like that.
It looked like a jump ball from that angle.
Yeah. Well, I think it didn't have to be called a foul, though. But you just don't know when the pitcher's going to call a foul anymore, and I don't think that. I think they've worked a pretty good basketball game, really, considering the degree of difficulty.
Riley and Watkins, Illinois State's 2 big men, both foul out. Riley leaves with 6 points. And it's Ryan Crowley replacing him.
It's 11 rebounds for Abacoya, and that's probably his career high. Ooh, I could see that one.
I told him before the game they were going to be watching in Chicago, and
that's 5 for 12 for Bradley from the free throw line.
This game would be over if Bradley had shot their free throws even at a 50% clip.
Well,
Coeta with 6 points. Bradley's lead is 3. Bryson takes it to the hole, missed it. Coeta the rebound.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I've never seen Coeta rebound like he has the past few games. He may turn out to be a pretty good player for Bradley before he's out of here.
And the whistle against Illinois State's Kyle Cartmill.
They seem to really give the break to the offensive player when they jump right into you, and I always think that's an offensive foul when they jump right into the defensive player, but they seem to call it that way both ways.
3 on Cartmill. Reggie Hall at the line. He's already got a career high 10 points tonight.
Bradley's not making it easy, I'll tell you, on the coach. The poor coach gets about 20 more gray hairs every missed free throw.
How did your Thornridge team shoot him?
Pretty good for a high school team. I got him pretty as good as most college teams do.
63-59 in overtime.
3 minutes left.
Tyrese Bryson hit the bucket that sent us to the extra 5 minutes. On the shot clock. Illinois State's run this weave out at the three-point line. Cartmill has it stolen away. I'm not sure if it was Dye or Roberson who got a hand on that.
I didn't see that either. I was watching
both those players in the top 10 on Bradley's career steals list. Reggie Hall has the size advantage on Crowley. Good ball movement this time by Bradley.
They're not going away from Dye though.
Dye with 7 on the shot clock, pulls it up off the dribble and hits for 3. 20 points for Rob Dye, and Bradley is unbeaten this year when he hits the 20-point mark.
Well, that was a clutch shot. The clock was running out, and Dye pulled up and hit a perfect three-pointer there.
Rob Dye barks at the crowd. Kevin Stallings barks at the officials. A minute 56 left in overtime. Bradley a commanding 7-point lead. Overtime, Bradley 66-59. Not a commanding lead, Ron Ferguson says.
There's no such thing as a commanding lead to a coach or an ex-coach or an old coach. I guess you might qualify me as all three.
Rob Dye struggled early in the season with his shooting, Ron, and then all of a sudden the light came on and he found that shot off the dribble, and he can free himself up with that, and he has really been Bradley's leading man all season long.
I think Bradley has to do here is not to pick up some silly fouls and stop the clock and put Illinois State to the free throw line. They got to make them earn it with field goals.
7-0 Bradley in the overtime.
That keeps the clock moving a little bit.
Illinois State has not scored in the extra period. Watkins and Riley, their big men, both fouled out. Crowley missed it. Stallings wanted a foul. And it's Illinois State ball. As the ball hit the standard.
Either that or Hall was standing on the end line. Here, you can see it here.
I thought the official pointed up.
I don't know. Well.
Inside, Crowley the follow. He has 7. 66-61. Illinois State the full court pressure, and Hall is whistled for the charge. Reggie Hall whistled for the charge after he had gotten rid of the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, that's why you never, as Yogi Berra said, it's never over till it's over. Both teams in the double bonus.
3 personals on Reggie Hall. Kenneth Pearson will go to the line. 4 of 9 there this season.
He hasn't played much this season because of injuries also. Evan Shire's probably coming in for Reggie. Abba. Yeah, they want to get some ball handling in there and some free throw shooters.
Abba Koita gets a nice hand, a career-high 12 rebounds.
He'll have Abba back in there if he gets a chance to substitute defensively.
Pearson makes the free throw. It's a 3-point game. Bradley facing the pressure. How they handle it will have a big impact on this ball game. Shire comes up with a tough pass, but he hauled it in. And the whistle on Victor Williams.
Illinois State's got a quick team in there now, and they're doing really a good job. Bradley was very fortunate to get the ball down the floor that time.
I'm sorry, it's a 4-point ball game. Dye at the line. I have him now 0 for 2 at the line. Is that correct?
Yeah, he had a 1-and-1, and he missed the first of 1-and-1.
He is third in the Valley in free throw shooting, 85%, and he's 0 for 2 there tonight. The junior from Springfield Southeast can't buy it.
Well,
1:06 left. It's not over yet, Yogi Berra. Victor Williams gets Illinois State within 2, and they call timeout. And Illinois State gets it. It didn't appear they called timeout before Bradley got the ball in, but they are granted the timeout with 59 seconds left. Stallings is out of 20s. It's a full timeout, 59 seconds left. A 2-point ball game in overtime. Point lead is now down to 2.
Well, Bradley had a chance. Rob Dye, who's our best free throw shooter, Bradley's best free throw shooter, missed both free throws, which is unusual, but there's a lot of unusual things. Illinois State's missed some easy shots and turned the ball over a couple times too, so that's why they keep playing the games, I guess.
Bradley is 7 for 16 at the line. That's just under 44%. Excuse me, 7 for 17. Shooting better from the floor than they are from the free throw line. Bradley the inbound. Shire gives to Robinson. He's fouled by Williams. Victor Williams, his 4th. Robinson will go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, somebody is going to have to step up for Bradley and make some free throws. They certainly did over at Northern Iowa to miss a free throw in the second half, so it's hard to understand.
And they were 8 for 8 in the overtime.
Right. Just hard to understand what happens some nights, especially when you're playing at home. I can see that happening more on the road.
Robinson is 79% at the line. He missed his first attempt there tonight. Hits that one. He did not play in the first Bradley-Illinois State meeting because of that knee injury. He bounces that one in, and Bradley's lead is back to 4. 53 seconds left.
Well, Bradley doesn't want to foul here again.
Williams inside to Crowley. Quick 2 with 45 seconds left. Illinois State within 2. Eric Roberson fouled by Williams. He is out of the ball game. With all due respect to Eric Roberson, however, they fouled the right guy. He is only 61%. He's 1 of 2 there tonight.
Well, here's the chance to atone for the error he made in regulation play there when he lost the handle on the ball and probably could have stalled most of the rest of the game out.
Watkins, Riley, and now Victor Williams have fouled out for Illinois State. And you talked about in the open, Ron, foul trouble was the key, and that's hurt Illinois State here tonight.
Yeah, foul trouble has hurt Illinois State, but Bradley hasn't capitalized, so it's been kind of a wash.
If you'd like to add tonight's News 25 Extra, looking at the Bradley ISU rivalry to your home collection along with tonight's ball game, send $21.95 to War on 74, care of WEDK, 2907 Springfield Road, East Peoria 61611. Eric Roberson at the free throw line. 20 points in game 1 against the Redbirds, 6 of 6 from behind the 3-point arc.
Both teams are in the double bonus, so.
And we mentioned in the Northern Iowa game, that takes a little bit of pressure off a guy at the line.
Sure does.
There's the Illinois State 3 that have fouled out.
And it's funny, they only had 3 or 4 fouls at the first half, so that's a strange. Well,
Roberson perfect at the line. He has 14. It's his first game in double digits. In a week or so, at least. 70-66. Bradley leads it with 44 seconds to play. Illinois State's ball.
Well, Bradley finally got to 500 at the free throw line. They're 9 for 18 now when Eric Roberson hit the 2 free throws. And I'm glad for Eric that he did that, because I know he feels bad about losing the handle on the ball at the end of regulation. But he's a competitor. But the game's still a long way from being over. So Bradley's going to have to make a defensive stop, I think, here somewhere.
It's interesting that Bradley had the chance to win the game at Northern Iowa in overtime, was able to collect themselves after giving up a game-tying shot and win it in overtime. So they've got that experience that they can do something like that.
Well, Bradley's got a small team in here now, but of course so does Illinois State because their big guys are all out of the game.
There's the time left in overtime.
They're just going to probably let Cartmill and Bryson just kind of take over this game here.
Bryson for three. Off the mark, Roberson
Just
rebound.
He just wants to go, go, go. Before he gets the ball, he wants to go.
Sean Jepson whistled for the foul at half court.
But where would Bradley be without Eric Roberson, the Predator? Well, Illinois State's playing a little bit of a disadvantage now. They've got three of their top players, not in the ball game now, and certainly with their lack of depth because of injuries, this is not the same Illinois State team out here, but yet they've still got 3 or 4 guys that can really put the ball in a hole.
Dye 0 for 3 at the line tonight. Illinois State is out of timeouts. Dye hits them both. He has 22. Bradley a 6-point lead. Jepson for 3 off the mark. Bryson the rebound. He puts it up with 13.8 left. And Bryson has to foul Dye. Pearson was slow getting up, but play continued. 11.2 left. Bradley by 4.
Well, the one thing that Bradley's done here that's been very smart is they haven't picked up some silly fouls and stopped the clock and put Illinois State at the free throw line. They've given up some easy baskets, but at least the clock keeps moving.
And Rob Dye is back. I'm not sure who that was in his uniform a while ago, but he hasn't missed 3 in a row all year.
Well, Bradley depends so much on Dye for so many things. They want the ball in his hands all the time. It's too bad there's not 2 Rob Dyes. Bradley would love to have 2. So would anybody. And so would someone like to have Tyrese Bryson and some of the players Illinois State has. They have some excellent basketball players and have an excellent team. They just been hurt a lot this year by injuries and Rico Hill deciding to play professional basketball, and that's just certainly changed the makeup of this fine basketball team.
There are 2 Rob Dyes.
There are?
His dad, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He was a star at Western back in the 70s. I think
he's out of player.
He's out of eligibility, though.
I remember him, and he was a fine player.
4.5 left.
Don't foul him. Let him take it in.
Bryson takes it to the hoop, cuts it to 4, and that'll do it. The war on 74 ends in a 74-70 win for Bradley. So long to our friends on Fox Sports Chicago. 74-70, the final. Bradley in overtime over Illinois State.
Good night, Gracie. Good night, Gracie.